inspection had been completed. Once Mr. Watkins went outside of cut rate, what did you do, Inspector?
I intercepted him.
And could you tell the jury a little bit about what intercepting him involved?
Sure. So he appeared intoxicated to me, so I felt that it was appropriate to cite him for public intoxication. So I walked up to him. I stopped him. He was walking down the street, kind of away from the liquor store, actually towards the police car at that point. So I stopped him and I asked for some identification. He gave me identification, and I kind of had a conversation with him and decided that he was actually very intoxicated based on how he smelled and how he looked, and he had bloodshot eyes. And I decided to perform a field sobriety test at that point.
Okay, I'm going to take you back for just a second. On the diagram that you already drew, could you indicate where you detained
Sure.
Mr. Watkins?
So he left cut rate. He was walking down here.
Could you draw that for the jury?
Sure.
So let's see.
He's walking this way, and then right about here, I stopped him, and I was over here at that point, still observing. So I crossed the street and stopped him right there and talked to him.
And how far away were you from him when you initially noticed the signs of intoxication that you already?
Well, initially, I mean, I was here and watching him walk across the street, but when I noticed the smell and the bloodshot eyes, we were probably about 2.5 feet away. I was pretty close. Yeah.
And what did he smell like?
It smelled like alcohol.
And what does alcohol smell like?
Well, it depends on the alcohol, but he smelled pretty bad.
Okay, and what did he have any, was he carrying anything out of the store?
He was carrying something in a brown paper bag.
And did you open up that bag?
I did open up the bag, and there was an open bottle of Thunderbird inside.
Was there anything else inside?
No, that was it.
Was there, so you didn't find a receipt?
I did not find a receipt, no.
Okay, and so you detained him, asked for his identification, asked for his name, and what happened after that?
At that point, like I said, I felt that he was intoxicated, but it's our procedure to have them perform a field sobriety test before issuing any kind of citation. So I had him perform the field sobriety tests.
Okay, and we already talked about the field sobriety tests. Why didn't you perform, you can go ahead and sit down, I apologize. Why didn't you perform any other kind of more conclusive test, like a breathalyzer or a blood alcohol test?
Well, I mean, we were in the field, so those things were not available to me at the time, and also based on my experience and observation of him, I determined that he was intoxicated, and it was not necessary at that point to do a blood alcohol test, because I was sure he would well be over the limit.
And was your training and experience necessary to determine that he was intoxicated?
I think it was pretty obvious that he was intoxicated. Just any casual observer would be able to tell that.
And after you performed the field sobriety test and confirmed your initial suspicions, what happened then?
Well, I arrested him for public intoxication at that point.
Okay, and put him in your car?
Yes, and put him in our car.
So after that, you went inside Cut Rate Liquor Store?
I did. I determined, based on my observations, that Mr. Jones, the clerk at Cut Rate, was the person who in fact sold the Thunderbird to Mr. Watkins. So I went into the store and issued Mr. Jones a citation for selling alcohol to an intoxicated person.
And when you were inside the store, did you make any note of what kind of alcohol Cut Rate Liquor carries?
Well, I did notice that they sold Thunderbird, and that it was pretty close to the clerk's desk where Mr. Jones would have been, within kind of his reaching distance, about 10 or 15 feet, I think, behind the counter. Large display of Thunderbird.
Okay, let's stop there.